Thank you, demon dog.
I remember when. I love Halo sounds. Obviously, Halo is known for the music. The green guy with the gun that has the little numbers on it. The voice of God in multiplayer, yelling,
Double kill.
But Halo sound effects are just as burnt into many a gamer's brain as the music or green guy. Like, people love Halo's sounds, and whenever a new Halo product releases these days, you'll inevitably get some commenter asking if they brought back the, I don't know, Warthog turning on sound or Master Chief stepping on gravel sound from some older Halo game. But here's the weirdest part. A lot of Halo's most famous, most unique, dare I say, most iconic sounds weren't made entirely from scratch. They came from stock sound libraries. In 2019, the Odyssey audio team came together and began hunting down and cataloging the various tools and resources that Bungie used to make the original Halo trilogy. They have this really cool spreadsheet and managed to track down a majority of the stock sounds used in Halo CE, and they've even gotten to work on a list for Halo 2. Before doing this video, I knew quite a few of these sounds from my own personal autism hunt sessions over the years, but this list opened up a wide door to the world of Halo's audio, providing details on not just where the sounds are from, but what bit of audio mixing was needed to get them to sound that specific Halo-y way. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the spreadsheet down below, because the Odyssey audio team is always open to a fresh set of ears to contribute to the list. That's right, LNG, but before I tell you about Halo stock sounds, it's time to pay some bills.
Hey, you!
Who, me?
Yeah, you. You tired of tiny little baby battles with tiny little baby vehicles and tiny little baby diaper explosions?
Well, now that you mention it, yeah.
Then you need War Thunder! The free-to-play military action game where tanks, planes, helicopters, and warships all collide in massive battles across the world. Fight with over a century of military technology, from classic machines to modern fighters, tanks, and ships. Each one is detailed visually and mechanically, with unique armor, weapons, upgrades, and battlefield roles.
This isn't one of those shooting games with big dumb health bars, is it? I hate those.
I'm so happy you asked. No health bars here. War Thunder uses a detailed damage model where every hit matters. Ignite a fuel tank or knock out the crew inside, all shown through a neat little X-ray box thing.
Well, that's just fucking crazy!
You can also use the latest in military hardware, guided missiles, smoke screens, night vision, active protection systems, and drones. The recent 9th Wave update adds Hungarian aviation and new fighters like the American F-16C and Soviet MiG-29M.
How do I play?
That's what I like to hear. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox using the link in the description. New players and those who haven't played War Thunder for half a year or more will receive some special bonuses. 100,000 Silver Lions, a special decorator, the Eagle of Valor, and more. You could also take War Thunder on the go with the mobile version. Download and play it for free on iOS or Android using the link in the description. Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring the video.
Let's start with maybe the most iconic sound in Halo, the energy shield. The whole sound set feels like such a key part of the Halo gameplay experience. It's probably the set of sounds you're going to be the most familiar with over the course of your Halo play sessions. But interestingly, this set of sounds was built from pretty ordinary stock sound effects. An electronic alarm beep, a low-frequency modulation sound, and even a recording of a defibrillator. Let me show you how it was done.
Everybody duck!
When your shields go down, the electronic alarm beep plays, but it doesn't sound quite right at first. But if you pitch it down by just 12 semitones, there it is, there we go. Now it's starting to sound a bit more familiar. For the shield recharge itself, the main ingredient is this low-frequency modulation sound. It's slowed down while keeping the pitch intact, and then a defibrillator sound is layered underneath to give it just that extra bit of texture. And when you put it all together, that's it. That's Halo. Alright, video's over. Everyone go home. Remember to like and subscribe. Nah, I'm kidding. It is kind of nuts, though, how iconic this sound is. I mean, all Microsoft had to do in 2019 to hype up a room full of grown-ass adults was play the Shield Recharge sound on a stage at E3. Alright, so the plasma pistol overcharge is another great example. If you were a kid when Halo was big, someone in your friends group had probably tried to do their best plasma pistol overcharge impression. Was it you? It was you, wasn't it? The funny thing is, the base of the sound comes from this nasty, buzzing, electrical stock sound effect. On its own, the sound is close, but you can tell it's not quite the plasma pistol. The magic comes from a second one that's placed on top and runs at 1.33 speed, and together, they harmonize and create this almost musical hum that the plasma pistol's overcharge is known for. There we go. Due to Halo CE's audio being in mono 22.5, a lot of the electrical crackling in the original stock sound effect is sort of scrubbed out of the mix, which is why it sounds a lot warmer and softer compared to my audio recreation. What's also interesting is the overchargeability was originally planned for the plasma rifle, not the plasma pistol. The overcharge sound effect is still stored in Halo CE as a plasma rifle sound. The normal plasma weapon firing sound was also built from a chopped up laser zap sound from the Power Surge sound library. Now, what about the human pistol? The Halo CE pistol is one of the most famous guns in the Halo series, but the sound profile around it isn't just a simple set of pistol sound effects. It's actually sort of a Frankenstein monster of different sounds. Like, the reload is fairly straightforward. It uses a stock Desert Eagle magazine handling sound from the dynamic range library. But the little fiddly mechanical details are surprising. Some of them come from shotgun movement sounds, and that little bit right there where he messes with the scope comes from a Ruger revolver being slid across some bricks. And it's not even the full stock sound, it's just this little snippet here. Sound design is so weird, man. Like, you're not always looking for the literal object, you know? You're looking for the texture that feels right. Sadly, the actual firing sound is still a bit of a mystery. It may have come from one of Bungie's other 2001 games, Oni, but the Odyssey team is still on the hunt for that one. The assault rifle is thankfully a lot clearer, and man, it's one of the most satisfying fully automatic weapons in any early 2000s game. The ready up sound for it came from an AK-47 being chambered from the dynamic range library, just slowed and pitched down a little bit. The actual firing sound came from a Browning machine gun recording from the General Series 6000 library. And the reload uses a ton of Remington handling noises. All these different sound effects come together to make the weapon we love. The sniper rifle is another weapon that's just kind of like this melting pot of different weapon handling noises. The firing sound uses recordings of a Kar 98K rifle and a Ruger Old Army 44 revolver being fired indoors. But the zoom sounds are where things get a little bit interesting. Those little scopes were created from just a camera autofocus motor stock sound. Weirdly enough, the reload sounds for this thing were made from handling sounds for a 9mm handgun. Like I mentioned before, it's not always about using the exact sound for the object. Sometimes it's about finding the right texture for the object, and that can come from some weird places. But those are just weapons. Halo's stock sound DNA is all over the rest of the game too. The Covenant Cruiser on the Truth and Reconciliation has a gravity lift that's brought to life by a sci-fi rumble sound from the Series 8000 sci-fi library. The footsteps of the various creatures of the game, yes, including the hunters, were made from leather shoes walking on various surfaces at different pitches depending on the size of the creature. And those funny Covenant radio prop things that don't really do a whole lot, but man are they charismatic. The sounds they give off are built from things like data processing noises and computer modem sounds. Teleporters use a low fluttering whoosh sound. Active camo is another one of those sounds that's pretty unforgettable. But the source, it's a synthetic scan pulse, just pitched down a little bit and cut off. The ominous sound of a Wraith's engines were made from two specific sounds from Sci-Fi Metropolis 1, a large taxi craft and a deep sub-cymbal sound. Oh, and that insanely memorable whoosh sound their mortars give off? It's a sound you've already heard. Yep, it's the teleporter sound. Even a lot of the ambience in the world, Forerunner interiors. Waterfalls. Spooky haunted swamps. They're built from pretty recognizable stock sounds. And that makes sense. Like, ambience is one of those things where stock sound libraries are incredibly useful. Having ready-to-go atmosphere layers saves a lot of time and lets designers get to work immediately on just filling in the gaps of the world. What makes sound design special is that despite the game's world being compiled from so many different stock sound assets, they still require a designer who has that, instinct for what can or can't fit in the game's audio spectrum. I guess it's sort of like composing music. Just instead of instruments, it's noises. And instead of music, it's just the sunny outdoors next to a waterfall. Okay, maybe it's not exactly like music, but you sort of get what I mean? Even some of Halo's UI sounds came from stock sound libraries. The famous match start came from a two-tone alarm beep from Premier Edition Volume 4. As the series went on, some of the same stock sound effects carried forward, but with a lot more clarity because of engine upgrades, moving beyond mono to 2.5. And you can really hear that clearly with the shotgun. Halo CE's shotgun firing sound was made from a stock sound effect for a SPAS 12. It is a little muffled, but you can hear that distinct, clanky SPAS 12 firing sound in there. Halo 2 uses more takes of the same SPAS 12 recording group, and because Halo 2 has a cleaner, higher quality soundscape, that SPAS 12 profile is much more obvious. That SPAS 12 firing sound is so popular that you've probably heard it in all sorts of other movies, shows, and games without even realizing it. The Energy Sword's another example. It uses a popular electrical spark and sizzle sound. This sound is so deeply ingrained in the Halo community that it's impossible not to hear it when it shows up in other games. Halo's battle rifle burst was made from a combination of famous stock sounds, but one in particular you may be very familiar with if you're a fan of Valve games. A more notorious weapon in the Halo series was the Halo 3 assault rifle firing sound. It's a meme in the Halo community that the Halo 3 assault rifle is pretty weak sounding. Well, what if I told you it actually came from a surprisingly meaty stock sound effect? You've probably heard this sound in other media, and it's a really good sound asset, but the way it's mixed in Halo 3 really defangs a lot of its power. And Bungie seemed to know this as well, because in Halo 3 ODST, a spin-off game built in the exact same Halo 3 engine, the sound for the assault rifle was mixed in a slightly different way, and it sounds much better as a result. If it speaks to the quality of the sound, you probably didn't even notice that Reach still uses that same sound effect for its assault rifle, but it's mixed in a much more impactful way. Halo's audio spectrum is this delicate balancing act. It doesn't really aim for something that sounds realistic. It feels honestly more movie-like. Weapons aren't too overpowering, Foley on clothes and the environment are raised, and the use of filmic stock sound effects helps connect it to the sounds of greater pop culture entertainment. I think part of why folk remember Halo's sound design isn't just because of the creative sounds being used, it's because at some subconscious level, it sounds familiar to us. It sounds like the movies we saw in the theaters or shows on TV. The sounds connect things like games to each other in subliminal ways, so positive experiences or memories you may have could transfer from one game to the next. And that still happens today to an extent. I still remember hearing that 9mm pistol reloading sound for the sniper rifle in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and stopping for a second as my brain made that positive connection. Now, there's a lot of sounds that I left out of this video because it would be hours long if I went over every single stock sound used in Halo. But if you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, check the description below for a link to the Odyssey team's spreadsheet and help them with the hunt. What's your favorite stock sound effect in Halo? Are there any you think I should have given the spotlight? Oh? What's this? Guys, aliens just beamed into my living room. Yes, they're right there. What's that? You're giving me a peace offering in the form of a cake? That was some good cake. A ride in your UFO? Why, I'd love to. Up the transport beam.